You've been lied to about money. Not intentionally, perhaps, but the lie runs deep. Society taught you that wealth is built through sacrifice, that abundance lives at the end of exhaustion, that fortune favors those who bleed for it. Generations believed this. Entire civilizations organized around it. The factory floors, the overtime shifts, the grinding until your soul feels thin. All of it built on one premise: work harder, earn more. But what if I told you that money doesn't respond to effort at all? What if wealth operates on a completely different principle? One that has nothing to do with how many hours you clock or how much you sacrifice? What if the secret to abundance isn't found in doing more, but in becoming more? There's a frequency to money, a vibration. And the moment you learn to match it, everything shifts. Not through force, but through resonance. This isn't theory. This is quantum law meeting ancient wisdom. And when you see it, you can't unsee it. Let me take you somewhere most people never go, into the invisible architecture of wealth itself. For as long as human beings have exchanged value, we've misunderstood the source. We built temples to toil, monuments to struggle, entire economic systems based on the belief that money is the reward for physical output. The industrial age amplified this to a religion. Clock in, produce, clock out, survive. The harder you grind, the more you deserve. Exhaustion became a badge of honor. Burnout became proof of dedication. But here's what they never told you. The wealthiest among us don't work the hardest. They work differently. They've tapped into something that has nothing to do with effort and everything to do with energetic alignment. They've discovered, consciously or not, that money is not a product of labor. It's a byproduct of frequency. Wallace Wattles understood this over a century ago when he wrote about what he called the thinking substance. He described it as an intelligent field permeating all reality, a living consciousness that responds not to your actions, but to your internal state. Whatever you hold in your mind with conviction and feeling, this field begins to materialize. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Quantum mechanics, if you want to get technical about it. Consider what quantum physics has shown us: that observation affects outcome, that the act of measurement collapses probability into reality, that consciousness and matter are not separate but interwoven. The observer effect isn't just a laboratory curiosity, it's a blueprint for how reality assembles itself around awareness. Your internal frequency, the resonance of your thoughts and emotions, acts as a signal, and the field responds. Most people broadcast lack. They think about bills and worry about scarcity and focus on what they don't have, all while working themselves into the ground, trying to fix it through effort alone. And the universe, being the perfect mirror that it is, reflects that frequency back to them. More lack, more struggle, more proof that money is hard to come by. Not because money is actually scarce, but because their signal says it is. This is the trap. You cannot work your way out of a frequency problem. You cannot hustle your way into a vibration you're not embodying. The external will always match the internal. Always. That's not philosophy. That's physics. Now think about a moment in your life when something came easily, when an opportunity appeared out of nowhere, when someone offered you exactly what you needed, when money showed up without you chasing it. What was your internal state in those moments? I'm willing to bet you weren't anxious. You weren't forcing. You were open, relaxed, maybe even playful. You were in flow. And in that flow, your frequency shifted. You became a magnet instead of a struggler. and the universe responded in kind. That's the game. It's not about working harder. It's about vibrating higher. It's about shifting from the frequency of survival to the frequency of abundance, from scarcity consciousness to wealth consciousness. And when you do, the external world has no choice but to reorganize itself around your new signal. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Scarcity and abundance aren't just ideas. They're measurable energetic states. Scarcity contracts. It tightens the body, narrows perception, activates survival mechanisms. It literally shrinks your electromagnetic field. Abundance, on the other hand, expands. It opens the chest, softens the breath, widens awareness. It amplifies your energetic presence in a way that draws resources, people, and opportunities toward you. You've felt this. Think about someone you know who seems to attract success effortlessly. There's something about them, right? A certain ease, a quiet confidence. They're not desperate. They're not chasing. They simply expect things to work out, and they do. That's not luck. That's frequency. They're broadcasting a signal that says, I already have what I need, and the universe mirrors that back to them as material abundance. Now contrast that with someone who's constantly stressed about money, always grinding, always worried. No matter how hard they work, it never seems to be enough. Why? Because their frequency is locked in lack. Every action they take is infused with the energy of not enough, and so the universe keeps reflecting not enough back to them. It's a closed loop, and effort alone cannot break it. Only a shift in frequency can. This is why so many people feel trapped in the hustle. They're doing everything they've been told to do. They're working long hours, following the rules, sacrificing their time and energy. And yet, abundance remains elusive. It's not because they're not working hard enough. It's because they're operating from the wrong frequency. They're trying to solve an energetic problem with a physical solution. And it doesn't work. It can't work. Wallace Wattles called this doing things in a certain way. Not just any way, a certain way. And that way is characterized not by effort, but by consciousness, by the internal tone you bring to every action. When you act from scarcity, your actions are hollow. When you act from abundance, your actions are potent. The external motion may look identical, but the energetic signature is completely different. And it's the energetic signature that determines the result. So how do you shift your frequency? How do you move from scarcity to abundance when your bank account is telling you a different story? This is the question that stops most people. Because it feels impossible to vibrate abundance when you're surrounded by evidence of lack. But here's the secret. Frequency isn't about denying reality. It's about choosing which reality you're aligning with. There are infinite possible futures available to you right now. In one, you continue struggling. In another, you thrive. Both exist as potentialities in the quantum field. The one that manifests is determined by the frequency you hold most consistently. Not the one you hope for, not the one you wish for, the one you embody, the one you feel into as if it's already real. This is where faith becomes practical. Faith in this context isn't blind belief. It's the ability to hold a frequency that doesn't yet match your current circumstances. It's the willingness to feel wealthy before the wealth arrives, to feel grateful before the evidence appears, to vibrate at the level of your desired reality, even while your present reality looks different. This is the bridge. This is how you cross from one timeline to another. Let me give you something tangible. Right now, wherever you are, take a breath. A real one. Deep into your belly. And as you exhale, let go of the need to figure out how. Let go of the need to control the outcome. Let go of the anxiety about money, just for this moment. And in that space, imagine what it would feel like if money were no longer an issue. Not in a fantasy way, but in a real, embodied way. What would your body feel like? What would your breath feel like? What would your energy feel like? That feeling, right there, is the frequency of abundance. And the more you practice returning to that state, the more you're training your nervous system to broadcast that signal. You're literally rewiring your energetic field. And as you do, the universe begins to respond. Not because you're manipulating it, but because you're aligning with it. You're tuning into the channel where abundance already exists. Now, this doesn't mean action isn't required. Of course, you still move, still create, still participate in the world. But the quality of your action changes. Instead of desperate grasping, you're flowing. Instead of forcing, you're allowing. Instead of working from a place of, I have to make this happen, you're working from a place of, I get to express this. And that shift in tone changes everything. When you take action from a place of abundance, your actions carry a different weight. They're infused with certainty instead of doubt, with creativity instead of survival instinct, with joy instead of obligation. And people feel that. Opportunities sense that. Money responds to that. Because at a fundamental level, everything is energy, and energy always seeks resonance. This is why gratitude is so powerful. Not gratitude as a spiritual bypass, not gratitude as a way to pretend everything's fine when it's not, but gratitude as a frequency shifter. When you genuinely appreciate what you already have, even if it's small, you're telling the universe, there is enough. And when you broadcast, there is enough, the universe says, okay, here's more. It's a feedback loop, a positive one. Contrast that with complaint. Every time you focus on what's wrong, what's missing, what's not working, you're reinforcing the frequency of lack. You're saying, there's not enough. And the universe, being the perfect mirror, says, you're right. There's not enough. And it gives you more of that experience. Not as punishment, but as reflection. It's simply matching your signal. So the question becomes, what signal are you sending right now? Not what you want to send, not what you think you should send, but what you're actually broadcasting through your thoughts, your emotions, your habitual internal state. Because that's what's creating your reality. That's what money is responding to. Not your effort, your frequency. If this is landing for you, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you stay connected to this frequency. Now, I'm curious. What's one scarcity thought pattern you've noticed about money that you're ready to release? Drop it in the comments. Sometimes just naming it begins the shift. And here's where it gets wild. When you shift your frequency, you don't just attract money, you attract the right opportunities, the right people, the right ideas at the right time. You step into a flow where synchronicity becomes normal, where what you need shows up before you even ask for it, where doors open that you didn't even know existed. This isn't woo-woo mysticism. This is what happens when you align your internal state with the frequency of abundance. The field reorganizes around you. I've seen this in my own life, and I've watched it happen for countless others. The moment someone stops fighting and starts aligning, everything shifts. Not overnight, necessarily, but inevitably. Because once you understand that money is responding to frequency, not effort, you stop wasting energy on the wrong things. You stop overworking and under-earning. You stop grinding yourself down in the name of productivity, and you start cultivating the internal state that naturally attracts wealth. This is the paradigm shift. From doing to being, from forcing to allowing, from effort to alignment. And it's not lazy. It's not passive. It's actually the most powerful thing you can do. Because when you're operating from the right frequency, your actions become effortless. Not because you're not working, but because you're working in harmony with the universe instead of against it. Think of it like tuning a radio. If you're on the wrong frequency, you get static. You can turn up the volume all you want. You can fiddle with the antenna. You can work harder at trying to hear the signal. But until you dial into the right frequency, you're not going to hear the music. Money is the same way. It's broadcasting on a specific frequency. And if you're not tuned to it, no amount of effort will bring it through clearly. But the moment you dial in, the moment you match the frequency, the signal comes through loud and clear. And it doesn't feel like work anymore. It feels like flow, like grace, like the universe conspiring on your behalf. Because in a very real sense, it is. When you're in alignment, you're working with the current instead of against it, and the current is powerful. Let me address something important. This doesn't mean you sit around visualizing money and wait for it to fall from the sky. That's a misunderstanding of how manifestation works. Frequency shift requires action, but it's inspired action, not desperate action. It's action that comes from overflow, not depletion. It's action that feels good, that energizes you, that aligns with who you're becoming, not who you've been. When you're in the right frequency, you'll feel the pull to move in certain directions. You'll get ideas. You'll meet people. You'll see opportunities you couldn't see before. And when you act on those impulses, things unfold with surprising ease. Not because the universe is doing the work for you, but because you're finally swimming with the current instead of against it. This is what Waddles meant by thinking in a certain way. It's not just positive thinking. It's not just affirmations. It's a complete reorientation of your relationship to reality. It's understanding that you're not a separate entity trying to extract resources from an indifferent universe. You're an expression of the universe itself. And when you align with that truth, when you embody it, abundance becomes your natural state. Let's go deeper into the mechanics. Your brain is constantly scanning your environment for evidence that confirms your beliefs. It's called confirmation bias, and it's one of the most powerful forces shaping your experience. If you believe money is hard to come by, your brain will filter reality to show you all the ways that's true. You'll notice the bills, the expenses, the rejections, the closed doors, and you'll miss the opportunities, the abundance, the ease that's also present. But when you shift your belief, when you start operating from the frequency of abundance, your brain starts scanning for evidence of that instead. And suddenly, you notice things you never saw before. You see possibilities. You see synchronicities. You see proof that yes, money can flow easily. And the more you notice it, the more you reinforce the new frequency. And the more you reinforce the frequency, the more reality reflects it back to you. It's a spiral, an upward one. This is why so many teachings about wealth focus on mindset. Because your mind is the tuning mechanism. It's what sets your frequency. And if your mind is locked in scarcity, your frequency will reflect that no matter how many hours you work. But if you can shift your mind, if you can genuinely embody the belief that abundance is available, your frequency shifts. And when your frequency shifts, your reality must follow. It's law. Now, I want to be clear. This isn't about toxic positivity. This isn't about pretending everything's fine when it's not. This is about recognizing that your current circumstances are a reflection of your past frequency, not a determinant of your future one. You can acknowledge where you are without being anchored to it. You can see the present reality without letting it dictate your internal state. And when you do that, when you hold the frequency of where you're going instead of where you've been, you literally begin to pull yourself into a different timeline. Quantum physics tells us that all possibilities exist simultaneously until observed. The act of observation collapses the wave function and brings one possibility into material form. In other words, the reality you're experiencing is the one you're observing, the one you're paying attention to, the one you're energetically aligned with. Change what you're observing, change what you're aligning with, and you change the reality that manifests. This is the power of focus. Not just mental focus, but energetic focus. When you focus on lack, you get more lack. When you focus on abundance, you get more abundance. It sounds simple, and it is. But simple doesn't mean easy. Because to focus on abundance when you're surrounded by lack requires faith. It requires you to trust in the invisible before it becomes visible. It requires you to hold a frequency that doesn't yet match your circumstances. And that takes practice. But here's the thing. You're already doing this. You're already holding a frequency. You're already collapsing possibilities into reality through your observation and attention. The question is whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Most people do it unconsciously, and that's why they keep recreating the same patterns. But when you become conscious of it, when you realize you have the power to choose your frequency, everything changes. So how do you choose? How do you consciously shift from the frequency of scarcity to the frequency of abundance? It starts with awareness. You have to become aware of your current frequency. Pay attention to your thoughts about money. Pay attention to how your body feels when you think about finances. Pay attention to the stories you tell yourself about why you don't have enough, or why it's hard, or why other people have it easier. Those thoughts, those feelings, those stories, they're all signals. They're broadcasting a frequency, and if that frequency is rooted in lack, that's what you'll keep experiencing. But once you become aware of it, you can start to shift it. Not by fighting it, not by forcing yourself to think positive, but by gently redirecting your attention toward abundance. By looking for evidence of flow, by noticing where money does come easily, by appreciating what you already have, by imagining, in a felt sense, what it would be like to live in abundance. This is energetic work. It's subtle. It doesn't look productive by conventional standards. But it's the most productive thing you can do, because it's addressing the root cause instead of just treating symptoms. It's shifting the frequency instead of just rearranging the furniture. And when the frequency shifts, everything else follows. Let me give you a practice. For the next 7 days, every time you think about money, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what frequency am I broadcasting right now? Am I in scarcity or abundance? And if you're in scarcity, which you probably will be at first because that's the default for most people, don't judge it. Just notice it. And then consciously choose to shift. Think of one thing you're grateful for. Think of one time money came easily. Think of one way you are abundant right now, even if it's small. Do this every single time, and watch what happens. You'll start to notice that your baseline frequency begins to shift. The anxious thoughts become less frequent. The scarcity stories lose their grip, and you'll start to see evidence of abundance showing up in your life. Small things at first, then bigger things. Not because you're manipulating the universe, but because you're finally tuning into the frequency where abundance already exists. Here's something most people don't realize. Money is already here. Abundance is already present. It's not something you have to create from scratch. It's something you have to allow. It's already flowing through the universe, through the economy, through the collective consciousness. The question is whether your frequency is open to receiving it. Are you a closed channel or an open one? Are you broadcasting yes or no? Are you in alignment or resistance? And this is where a lot of spiritual teachings get misunderstood. People hear you create your reality, and they think it means they're doing something wrong if they're struggling. But it's not about blame. It's about empowerment. You're not creating reality from nothing. You're selecting which reality you experience from the infinite field of possibilities. And you're selecting through frequency, through the internal state you habitually occupy. Now, what I'm sharing with you today barely scratches the surface of how deep this actually goes. If you're feeling something shift inside you as we speak about frequency and consciousness, if you're ready to understand not just the concept, but the complete system of how to consciously become the broadcast that attracts wealth, I've created a comprehensive guide called Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery. It takes you through the 9 master frequencies and shows you exactly how to shift from unconscious transmission to living as the field itself. It's linked in the pinned comment below. So if you're struggling financially, it doesn't mean you're bad at manifesting. It means your frequency is tuned to struggle. And the good news is, frequency can be shifted. You're not stuck. You're not broken. You're just tuned to the wrong channel. And the moment you realize that, the moment you take responsibility for your frequency instead of blaming external circumstances, you reclaim your power. This is the frequency of money. It's not complicated. It's not reserved for special people. It's available to everyone because it's a law, like gravity. And laws don't discriminate. They just operate. If you align with the law, you get the result. If you don't, you don't. It's not personal. It's mechanical. And once you understand the mechanics, you can work with them intentionally. Now I want to acknowledge something. For those of you who have real financial pressure right now, who are struggling to make ends meet, this might feel frustrating. You might be thinking, that's easy to say, but I have bills due tomorrow. I don't have time to work on my frequency. And I get it. I've been there. But here's the paradox. The more desperate you feel, the more important this work becomes. Because desperation is the loudest scarcity signal you can send. And as long as you're operating from that frequency, you'll keep attracting circumstances that perpetuate it. So even, and especially, when things are tight, that's when you need to pause and recalibrate your frequency. Not as a way to escape reality, but as a way to shift it. Take 5 minutes, breathe, ground yourself, connect to gratitude, even if it's gratitude for the fact that you're still breathing, that you're still here, that you have another chance. That's not bypassing, that's survival. That's shifting your nervous system out of panic and into presence. And from presence, solutions appear that panic could never see. When you're in scarcity frequency, your perception narrows. You literally can't see opportunities that are right in front of you. Your brain is in survival mode, scanning for threats, not possibilities. But when you shift into abundance frequency, even momentarily, your perception opens. You see options. You get ideas. You feel inspired to reach out to someone, to try something new, to take a chance. And often, that's where the breakthrough comes from. Not from working harder at the same old patterns, but from shifting frequency and seeing a new path entirely. This is the real work. Not hustling, not grinding, but becoming so clear, so aligned, so resonant with abundance, that it has no choice but to flow toward you. And when it does, it doesn't feel like effort. It feels like coming home, like remembering who you actually are beneath all the conditioning and fear. You are not a scarcity-based being living in a scarce universe. You are an abundant expression of an abundant cosmos. And the moment you remember that, everything changes. Before we go further, I want to hear from you. What's one moment in your life when money or an opportunity showed up effortlessly, when you weren't forcing it? Share that memory in the comments. It'll help you anchor into that frequency again. So take a moment right now. Comment below with these words: I am tuned to abundance. Not as a hollow affirmation, but as a declaration. As a signal to the field that you're shifting frequency. As a conscious choice to align with the truth of who you are. Type it out. Let the universe hear you. Let your own consciousness register the shift. This is not a small thing. This is you claiming your place in the frequency of wealth. And if what you're hearing in this video is resonating with something deeper in you, if it's touching a part of you that's been waiting to remember this truth, then I invite you to subscribe. Not just to this channel, but to this frequency, to this understanding, to this new way of relating to money and abundance and life itself. Because the more of us who operate from this frequency, the more the collective field shifts, and the easier it becomes for everyone to access abundance. We're not just changing our individual lives, we're participating in a global shift in consciousness. Let's talk about what happens when you sustain this frequency over time. Because this isn't a one-time shift. This is a practice, a discipline, a way of being, and the longer you maintain it, the more profound the results become. At first, you might notice small things: unexpected refunds, a surprise check, someone paying you back money you'd forgotten about. These are the universe's way of confirming, yes, you're on the right track. Keep going. But as you continue to hold the frequency of abundance, bigger shifts start to happen. Career opportunities that seemed impossible suddenly become available. Business ideas that felt out of reach start to materialize. Income streams you never considered begin to open up. And it all happens with a quality of ease that feels almost surreal compared to the struggle you're used to. Not because the universe is suddenly favoring you, but because you've finally tuned into the channel where these things exist. This is what it means to live in flow, to be in the current of abundance rather than fighting against it. And the beautiful thing is, the more you experience it, the more you trust it. And the more you trust it, the easier it becomes to maintain the frequency. It's a positive feedback loop that builds momentum over time. But here's where most people get tripped up. They experience a taste of abundance. Things start flowing, and then they get scared. They start doubting. They start waiting for the other shoe to drop. They start questioning whether it's real or whether they deserve it. And in that moment of doubt, they drop back into scarcity frequency. And the flow stops. Not because they did anything wrong, but because their frequency shifted. This is why unwavering faith is so crucial. Not faith in a religious sense, though it can include that, but faith in the law itself. Faith that when you hold the frequency of abundance, abundance must appear. It's not optional, it's mechanical. The universe doesn't withhold, it only reflects. So if you're experiencing lack, it's not because abundance isn't available. It's because your frequency isn't aligned with it yet. And the moment it is, the moment you stabilize in that resonance, the external must match the internal. That's how it works. Think of it like this. You know how a tuning fork works? You strike it, and it begins to vibrate at a specific frequency. And if there's another tuning fork nearby that's capable of matching that frequency, it starts to vibrate too, even though nothing physical touched it. That's resonance. That's entrainment. You vibrate at the frequency of abundance, and money, being energy, begins to vibrate in resonance with you. It's drawn to you not through effort, but through alignment. This is why visualization works, but only when it's done correctly. Most people visualize from a place of lack. They imagine having money because they don't have it now. They imagine success because they feel like a failure. And that energy of lack is embedded in the visualization, which means they're actually reinforcing scarcity frequency while trying to create abundance. It doesn't work. It can't work. But when you visualize from a place of already having, from a place of embodiment, from a place where you're feeling what it feels like to be abundant right now, that's when visualization becomes potent. Because you're not reaching for something outside yourself. You're activating something inside yourself. You're tuning the instrument. You're setting the frequency. And once the frequency is set, the universe responds. Let me share something personal. There was a time in my life when I was completely broke. I mean, struggling to pay rent, broke. And I was working constantly, doing everything I was supposed to do, and it wasn't working. I was exhausted, resentful, and terrified. And one day, I just stopped. I stopped trying to figure it out. I stopped pushing. I stopped being at war with my circumstances. And in that space of surrender, something shifted. I remember sitting in my apartment, and I just decided to feel grateful for what I did have. The roof over my head, even though I didn't know how I'd pay for it next month. The food in my fridge, even though it was sparse. The fact that I was alive and breathing and still had another day to turn things around. And in that moment of genuine gratitude, I felt something open inside me. A softness, a trust, a knowing that somehow I was going to be okay. I wasn't visualizing millions of dollars. I wasn't even visualizing paying my bills. I was just present with what was, without resistance, and simultaneously open to what could be. And that's when things started to shift. Within a week, I got an unexpected opportunity. Within a month, my income had doubled. Within 6 months, I was more financially stable than I'd ever been. Not because I suddenly started working harder, but because I stopped working from scarcity and started working from trust. That's the shift. That's the frequency change. And it's available to you right now. You don't have to wait until circumstances improve. You don't have to earn the right to feel abundant. You can choose it now. This moment, regardless of what your bank account says. Because abundance is an internal state first and an external reality second. Always. So let's talk about practical integration. How do you actually live this? How do you maintain abundance frequency when you're surrounded by a world that's constantly pulling you back into scarcity? First, you have to protect your frequency. That means being selective about what you consume. The news cycle is designed to keep you in fear, which is the opposite of abundance frequency. Social media can trap you in comparison, which is another form of scarcity thinking. Even well-meaning friends and family might unknowingly reinforce lack-based beliefs through their own conditioning. You have to create space for yourself to remember the truth. Daily practice is essential. It doesn't have to be complicated. 5 minutes of conscious breathing, 5 minutes of gratitude, 5 minutes of feeling into the version of you that's already living in abundance. That's it. 15 minutes a day to recalibrate your frequency. And if you do that consistently, you'll start to notice that your baseline state shifts. You'll find yourself naturally thinking thoughts of abundance, naturally feeling gratitude, naturally expecting things to work out. And when that becomes your default, when abundance frequency becomes your natural state, your external reality will have completely transformed. Another practice: become aware of your language. The words you use to describe your financial situation are not neutral. They're creative. When you say, "I can't afford that," you're broadcasting scarcity. When you say, "Money is always a struggle," you're setting that frequency. When you say, "I never have enough," you're programming lack into your reality. It's not about lying or pretending. It's about choosing language that aligns with where you're going, not where you've been. Instead of, "I can't afford that," try, "That's not a priority for me right now." Or, "I'm choosing to invest my resources elsewhere." Instead of "money is hard," try, "I'm learning to receive money with more ease." Feel the difference? The energy is completely different, and energy is everything. Let's also talk about giving. This might seem counterintuitive when you're in scarcity, but giving is one of the fastest ways to shift into abundance frequency. Not giving from depletion, not giving because you think you should, but giving from overflow. Even if it's small, even if it's just $1 or a kind word or your time. When you give, you're telling the universe, "I have more than enough." And the universe says, "Okay, let's prove that true." It's the circulation principle. Money is energy, and energy must flow. When you hoard out of fear, you block the flow. When you give with trust, you open it. And what you give returns to you multiplied. But here's the key. The giving has to come from the right frequency. If you're giving with strings attached, with expectation of return, with resentment or obligation, that's not abundance frequency. That's manipulation disguised as generosity. True giving comes from a place of genuine overflow, where you're so connected to the infinite source that giving feels natural, joyful, easy. And when you give from that place, the return is inevitable. Not because you're trading, but because you're demonstrating to yourself and the universe that you trust the flow. Now let's address something that comes up a lot. What about taking practical action? What about applying for jobs, starting businesses, making investments? Absolutely. Do all of that. But do it from the right frequency. Action taken from abundance frequency is inspired action. It feels aligned. It energizes you. It opens doors. Action taken from scarcity frequency is desperate action. It feels forced. It drains you. It leads to dead ends. Same external action, completely different internal frequency, completely different results. When you're in abundance frequency, you'll find that opportunities present themselves. You'll get gut feelings about which direction to move. You'll meet people who can help you in ways you couldn't have orchestrated. And when you act on those impulses, things unfold with surprising grace. Not because the universe is doing the work for you, but because you're finally working in harmony with it. You're not swimming upstream anymore. You're letting the current carry you. This is the effortless effort. The work that doesn't feel like work because it's aligned with who you really are. And when you're in that state, productivity multiplies. Not because you're doing more, but because everything you do is infused with the power of right frequency. 1 hour of work in abundance consciousness can produce more results than 40 hours of work in scarcity consciousness. That's not exaggeration. That's the difference between aligned and misaligned energy. So here's what I want you to understand deeply. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not unlucky. You're just tuned to the wrong frequency. And frequency can be shifted. Right now, this moment. It doesn't require a degree or special talent or even time. It just requires willingness. Willingness to let go of the old story. Willingness to try a new way. Willingness to trust that maybe, just maybe, the universe is actually designed to support you, not oppose you. Because it is. The universe is not neutral. It's not indifferent. It's responsive. It's intelligent. And it's waiting for you to align with it, so it can deliver everything you've been working so hard to force. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to prove anything. You just have to tune in, match the frequency, and let it flow. Before we close, I want you to do something. Think of one action you can take this week that comes from abundance frequency. Not something you should do, not something you're forcing yourself to do, but something that genuinely excites you, something that feels expansive, something that makes you feel more alive. It might be reaching out to someone. It might be starting that project you've been putting off. It might be investing in yourself in a way that feels scary but aligned. Whatever it is, do it. Take that action from abundance consciousness and watch what happens. And then come back here and drop one word in the comments. One word that captures the frequency you're choosing. Abundance, flow, trust, expansion. Whatever word resonates with where you are and where you're going, let that be your declaration to the quantum field, your signature, your signal. Because every time you consciously choose your frequency, you're not just changing your own life. You're contributing to the collective shift. You're making it easier for everyone else to access abundance. And that matters. If you're still here, if this is landing, if something in you recognizes the truth of what we're talking about, subscribe. Not just to stay informed, but to stay aligned, to be part of this frequency, to surround yourself with content and community that reinforces the truth instead of the illusion. Because the world will try to pull you back into scarcity. It's conditioned to. But when you have reminders, when you have practices, when you have a community that's holding the same frequency, you can sustain it. You can build momentum. You can actually shift your life. The more of us who embody this understanding, the more the collective consciousness shifts. And the more the collective shifts, the easier it becomes for everyone to access the truth that abundance is our natural state. We're not here to struggle. We're not here to survive. We're here to thrive. We're here to create. We're here to express the infinite abundance of the universe through our unique existence. And that brings me to something crucial that most manifestation teachings miss entirely. It's not just about getting money. It's about what money represents. Money is energy. It's a tool. It's a medium of exchange. But at a deeper level, money is freedom. It's creative power. It's the ability to impact the world in the way you're meant to. And when you approach money from that perspective, from the perspective of what you can create and contribute when you have it, rather than what you can take and consume, the entire game changes. Because the universe responds to service. It responds to value creation. It responds to the intention to uplift and expand life. When your relationship with money is rooted in what you can give rather than what you can get, you tap into a completely different frequency, a higher one that naturally attracts more because you're operating as a channel for abundance to flow through, not a dam trying to hold it all. Think about the people who have the most wealth in the world, not the ones who hoarded and manipulated, but the ones who genuinely created value, who solved problems, who made life better for millions of people. They didn't get wealthy by focusing on getting wealthy. They got wealthy by focusing on creating something that served. And in serving, abundance flowed to them naturally. That's the law. Give value, receive value. Not as transaction, but as circulation. So if you want to shift your frequency permanently, shift your intention. Ask yourself, what do I want to create with money? Who do I want to help? What impact do I want to have? What would I build if I knew I couldn't fail? When your focus shifts from accumulation to contribution, from receiving to giving, you automatically elevate into a frequency where money can't help but flow. Because you're no longer a closed circuit. You're an open channel. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't have to wait until you have money to operate this way. You can embody the frequency of contribution right now. You can give value right now. You can serve right now. Even if it's just through a kind word, through sharing knowledge, through being present with someone who needs it. Every act of genuine service raises your frequency. Every moment you operate as an expression of abundance rather than a seeker of it, you reinforce the signal. This is why people who have a strong sense of purpose often attract money more easily than people who are just trying to get rich. Purpose puts you in alignment with something greater than yourself. It connects you to the flow of life itself. And when you're connected to that flow, money becomes a natural byproduct. Not the goal, but the result. Not the destination, but a tool along the journey. Let me give you an energetic framework that ties all of this together. At the lowest frequency, you have survival consciousness. This is pure scarcity, fear-based, reactive. This is where most of humanity operates most of the time, especially around money. At this level, every action is about not losing, not failing, not running out. And the universe mirrors that back as constant struggle. One level up, you have security consciousness. This is slightly better. You're not in pure survival mode, but you're still operating from, I need to protect what I have. There's still fear underneath, just not as acute. And while this is more stable than survival consciousness, it's still a contracted frequency. It's still based on the belief that there's not enough. The next level is comfort consciousness. This is where a lot of middle-class thinking lives. You have enough to be comfortable, but you're not expanding. You're maintaining. And while there's nothing wrong with comfort, it's a plateau. It's neutral frequency. The universe doesn't mirror back loss, but it doesn't mirror back growth either. You get what you've got, and that's where you stay until your frequency shifts. Above that is expansion consciousness. This is where things get interesting. This is where you start to see money not as a resource to hoard, but as energy to circulate. You start investing, creating, taking calculated risks. You start to trust that there's more where that came from. And at this level, the universe starts to respond with growth. Things start to multiply. Opportunities compound. This is the frequency where wealth begins to build momentum. And then at the highest level, there's contribution consciousness. This is pure abundance frequency. At this level, you're so connected to Source, so aware that you are an expression of infinite abundance, that your entire focus is on what you can give. And paradoxically, this is where the most wealth flows. Not because you're trying to get it, but because you've become a clear channel for it. You're no longer in your own way. You're just allowing the infinite to express through you. The question is, where are you operating from right now? Be honest. Most of us fluctuate between survival and security, occasionally touching comfort, rarely experiencing expansion, and almost never stabilizing in contribution. But the beautiful thing is, you can consciously choose to move up this scale. You can practice expanding your frequency until it becomes your baseline. And it starts with awareness. Notice when you're in scarcity. Notice the thoughts, the feelings, the bodily sensations that accompany it. Don't judge them. Just notice. And then consciously choose to shift. Ask yourself, if I were operating from abundance right now, what would I be thinking? How would I be feeling? What would I do differently? And then practice being that. Even if it feels like acting at first. Even if your circumstances don't match yet. Practice the frequency until it becomes natural. This is the work. Not external hustle, but internal cultivation. Not forcing outcomes, but embodying the state that naturally produces those outcomes. And the more you practice, the more stable your frequency becomes. The more stable your frequency, the more consistent your results. And eventually, you reach a point where abundance isn't something you're trying to manifest. It's just who you are. It's your default state. And money flows to you as naturally as breath flows through you. Now, I want to address something for those of you who might be thinking, this sounds great, but what about systemic issues? What about economic inequality? What about people who work hard and still struggle? These are valid questions, and the answer is nuanced. Yes, systems exist that make wealth creation harder for some than others. Yes, there are structural barriers. Yes, privilege plays a role. All of that is true. But here's what's also true. Consciousness transcends systems. Frequency operates at a level that's prior to circumstance. You can acknowledge systemic challenges and still take full responsibility for your internal state. In fact, you must. Because if you give all your power to external systems, if you make them the reason you can't access abundance, you've just locked yourself into victim consciousness. And victim consciousness is the lowest possible frequency. It guarantees continued struggle. The most empowering stance is this. Yes, there are challenges. Yes, some people have advantages I don't have. And I'm still going to operate from abundance frequency because that's where my power lives. I'm still going to align with wealth consciousness because that's how I change my reality. I'm not denying the challenges. I'm choosing not to let them define my frequency. And when enough people do that, when enough people refuse to let external circumstances dictate their internal state, the systems themselves begin to shift. Change happens from the inside out, always. So don't use systemic barriers as an excuse to stay in scarcity frequency. Use them as motivation to master your frequency even more deeply. Because when you can maintain abundance consciousness in the face of real challenges, when you can hold that frequency despite external circumstances, you become unstoppable. You become a force of nature. You become living proof that consciousness creates reality. And that's what the world needs right now. Not more people complaining about how hard it is, but more people demonstrating that there's another way. More people embodying the truth that abundance is available when you align with it. More people breaking the old paradigm by simply refusing to participate in it anymore. That's revolution. Not in the streets, but in consciousness itself. Let me leave you with this. Right now, in this moment, you are surrounded by infinite potential, infinite possibilities, infinite resources. The universe is not withholding anything from you. It's just waiting for you to tune in, to match the frequency, to become the vibration of what you're asking for. And when you do, when you stabilize in that resonance, everything you've been working toward will begin to materialize. Not through effort, but through alignment. Not through force, but through flow. Money responds to frequency, not effort. That's the teaching. That's the transmission. And now it's your turn to embody it, to live it, to prove it true in your own experience. Because I can tell you this truth 1,000 times, but until you feel it in your body, until you see it reflected in your life, it's just information. Make it transformation. Take what you've heard here and put it into practice. Shift your frequency. Watch your reality change. Consider bookmarking this video and returning to it each morning for the next week. Let it recalibrate your frequency before you step into your day. And if someone comes to mind while you're watching, someone who's stuck in the scarcity loop, someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. When you share these principles, you're not just helping them. You're deepening your own alignment with abundance. You're declaring to the universe that you understand the law of circulation. And that declaration amplifies everything we've talked about today. And as you do, remember, you're not just changing your life, you're changing the world. Because every person who steps into abundance consciousness makes it easier for the next person. Every person who breaks free from scarcity thinking weakens the collective grip of lack. Every person who embodies wealth as an internal state rather than an external achievement shifts the entire paradigm. You matter. Your frequency matters. Your choice to align with abundance instead of scarcity ripples out in ways you can't even imagine. So choose it. Now. Today. This moment. Let this be the turning point. Let this be the moment you remember who you really are. An infinite being in an infinite universe, with infinite resources available to you the moment you tune into them. You are not separate from abundance. You are an expression of it. And the moment you truly know that, the moment you embody that, everything shifts. Drop that word in the comments. Let the field know you're claiming this frequency. Let the universe hear your declaration, and then go live it, embody it, become it. Because the world is waiting for you to step into your abundance. Not someday, now. And if you want to continue this journey, if you want to keep elevating your frequency, if you want to surround yourself with teachings and practices that support your expansion, subscribe. Join this community. Stay connected to this frequency. Because transformation isn't a one-time event. It's a continuous unfolding. And the more you immerse yourself in the vibration of abundance, the more natural it becomes. The more it becomes simply who you are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to see differently. Thank you for being willing to shift from effort to frequency, from struggle to flow, from scarcity to abundance. The universe is celebrating your choice, and so am I. Now go. Live from the frequency of wealth, and watch your entire world transform.